Hi, hello there you guys. So today what we're going to do is we're going to create collaborative community projects and we're going to do that with a partner. So you and your partner are going to start by building a basic project, and then you're going to pass it on or move to different computers and add on to other projects so that by the end of class we'll have anywhere between 8 and 12 unique class projects that we all build together. So to do that, the first thing you want to do is you want to create a new project. I've already created one, so I'm just going to go to it, and it's called Collaborative Project Example. You can name yours something like Collaborative Project and then your names, you and your partner's names. So once you've created a new project, you're going to have a blank screen like this. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to add a background and a sprite, and you want to spend no more than 2 minutes total doing this. So I've already got my background and my sprite. I'm not going to waste any more time on that because we've got a lot to do. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add an event handler, and that means that when I click the green flag or when I start or press a new button, then it will start a series of events, all of the blocks that are underneath it. So I'm going to use when the green flag's clicked because that's the one we use the most. And then I want to make my sprite talk and introduce itself. So I'm going to pull out this say hello for 2 seconds block. And I want to use the say hello for 2 seconds block because I want to be able to set the length of time that my sprite talks for. Otherwise it might talk too fast or it might talk too slow. So I'm going to say, greetings from the Google After School program. And I'm going to have my sprite say that for 3 seconds. And then the next thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and set the location of my sprite. So I probably want to do that before I say hello. So to do that, I'm going to go to motion and get this go to XY block, and I'm going to click that in before say because I want it to have my sprite start in the same place each time I click the green flag. I also want it to stay on the same backdrop when I start, so I'm going to have it switch the backdrop to the brick wall and stairs, which is actually the only one I have right now. But if you add more backdrops later, you'll want to make sure you can reset it. So now that it's started out right and I've got it saying hello, I want to make this interactive. So we talked about this in class, but to do that, I'm going to use the blue ask block, and then it's going to ask the user or the viewer to type in a response, and then I'm going to use their response to have my sprite talk back to them. So to do that, I'm going to come to sensing, and I'm going to look for this ask what's your name and wait block. And that's the question I actually am going to ask, is what's your name? But you can have it say anything, and then the person watching will be able to type in. So I want to take the answer that they give, and I want to use it back in what my sprite is saying. I want it to say, nice to meet you so-and-so, whatever their name is. So to do that, I'm going to come over here to data, and I'm going to make a variable, and I'm going to call it name, because that's what the people are going to be inputting, or the person watching. So going ahead, click name. So, and remember that a variable is basically just a placeholder, a bucket, or a way to store information that I can call back later. So that means I could put any kind of name into name. It could be Jackie, Joe, Sarah, Billy, anything, and they all are names, and I'm just changing the value of that variable. They're all the variable name. So I'm going to set the name to be the answer that the person gives me. So right now I pulled out this orange set name to block. I'm going to go back to sensing, and I'm going to pull out this answer, plug it in there, and that means that when someone types in a response, whatever their answer is, I'm going to change the variable name to be that answer. Once I do that, I can come back here and have my sprite use the name to talk back. But before I can just type in or put in the variable name, I want it to say hello, or I want it to say nice to meet you, the person's name. So I need to go to the operators and pull out a green join block. And what this green join block lets me do is combine two different values. So I can combine the variable name with the text that I want to say. So I'm going to say, nice to meet you, space. And you need that space, otherwise there won't be any space in between the words. And then come back to data, pull out the variable name and plug it into the second half. And now if we see our project, it says, greetings from the Google After School program. What's your name? My name is Jackie. Nice to meet you, Jackie. Awesome, so we're almost done. The last thing we need to do to start our project is have our sprite move to a different location. So the easiest way to do this is to pick your sprite up and drag it where you want it on the screen. And all of these blue blocks will change to reflect the new location. So if I just pull out this glide to block, it will now have my sprite glide to the location it's currently set at. So let's go ahead and see if this worked. Greetings from the Google After School program. What's your name? It's Jackie. Nice to meet you, Jackie. And then my sprite glides. Awesome. So now my project is all set up. It's ready to go and be passed along and have other students add things to it. So when you're adding to other projects, you want to remember never to delete, but only to add. And you can add one, maybe two things from the second half of the checklist. You will eventually have to add all of these things to one of the projects. Or rather, you will have to check off everything. So maybe the first project you go to, you add the first two options. And the next project you go to, you add the second two options from the bottom half of the checklist. One of your options is to answer one of the questions you took from the survey. So let's go ahead and see what that might look like. So I'm going to pull out this block and I'm going to say, computer science is fun because it allows you to create things. I'm going to change this to be for 3 seconds. What's your name? Jackie. Nice to meet you, Jackie. Gliding. Computer science is fun because it allows you to create things. So I would earn 4 points for answering that. And then I might add one more thing to this project, and then I would go on to the next computer, and I would look at my checklist and see what else I still needed to do. Other options include adding and changing the backdrops. Remember, not deleting the old backdrop, but maybe switching to a different backdrop to create the sense of motion. Adding loops, adding sounds, having sprites talk to one another, or making your sprite dance. So you guys are going to get with your partners. And you're going to get started and complete the To Start project, first half of the checklist, and then we're going to start rotating around. Can't wait to see what you guys create.